Good morning students. Welcome back our chemistry online class. In the last class we discussed about unit 10 some separation methods, right? So today also we are going to study about some separation methods. In the last class we discussed only 4 separation methods, that is sublimation method, centrifugation method, solvent extraction method and simple distillation method, isn't it? Today we are going to discuss about fractional distillation method and chromatography method. Okay, so let's we see fractional distillation method. So in this method what we are going to separate the miscible liquids. Okay, we are going to separate 2 or more miscible liquids. Miscible liquids means you all know both are liquids, both can mixed together. Okay, for example alcohol with water. Okay, so this is same as this simple distillation method. That way we are going to separate out this miscible liquids. Okay, so in this fractional distillation method it is used to separate 2 or more miscible liquids. Mostly in this method we can separate out different gases from air, and we can separate 2 alcohols from water, and it is used in petrochemical industries. Okay, see students, this is the fractional distillation experiment. Okay, so in this is same as the simple distillation method. Okay, so in this experiment what we are going to do, we have to take alcohol and water in a condenser flask. This is the condenser flask. Okay, what are the things we need to take? Alcohol and water. Heat it well. When boiling, this alcohol vapors will be comes out first. Okay, alcohol vapors will be comes out first, and this vapor will comes through this, what is this? Condenser tube. Okay, so alcohol vapors will comes through this condenser tube. Here on inner tube is there, no? So through this inner tube alcohol vapors will be comes out. So outer tube water is there. For what purpose we are using water here? To cool the vapors. Okay, so this water, this cold water will be cool the vapors. So this alcohol vapors is now converted into liquid, so that we will get pure alcohol. Have you understood fractional distillation method? So in fractional distillation method we have to separate 2 or more miscible liquids. This fractional distillation is used in petrochemical industries, and it is used to separate different gases from gas, and it is used to separate to distill the alcohols. Okay, and next we are going to study about chromatography. So before studying this chromatography, we need to know the 2 topics, that is adsorption and absorption. This is very important question. This is book back question also, so listen carefully. So before studying the definition for adsorption, let's see one example. So you have to take one chalk piece. Okay, one example, have to take one chalk piece, just to imagine it. Okay, and dip this chalk piece in a ink bottle. Okay, dip this chalk piece in a ink bottle. What will happen? This chalk will absorb the ink, right? So that the ink particles will concentrated surface of the chalk piece. So here when you broke this chalk piece, this ink particle does not present inside the chalk piece. It will absorb only at the surface. Okay, so this is the adsorption. So what is adsorption? The particles of substance is concentrated only at the surface. Okay, the particles of substance is concentrated only at the surface is called as adsorption. Have you understood adsorption? Yes. The next, absorption. So absorption means, one example, you take a cotton ball. Okay, cotton, you all know cotton, right? Take a cotton ball and dip this cotton ball in a ink bottle. Okay, dip it. What will happen? This cotton ball will absorb the ink, right? Cotton ball will absorb the ink completely. So here that ink particles is uniformly distributed throughout, right? Everywhere it will be spread out. This is called as absorption. So absorption means it is the process in which the substance is uniformly distributed throughout the bulk of another substance. Okay, their adsorption means substance is concentrated only at the surface. Absorption means it is that substance is uniformly distributed throughout. Okay, have you understood the difference, this adsorption and absorption? Yes, good. So study now, you mark it. It is the book back question, Roman letter 5. What differentiate adsorption and absorption? One question is given, differentiate adsorption and absorption, book back question. So you have to mark it, this two paragraph. But when you write in the paper, when you write in exam paper or your note, how you should write this note means, put a table. You have to draw a table, tabular column. Okay, one side you should put the topic adsorption and another one side absorption. First side you have to write this definition and next side you have to write this definition. Okay, have you understood my adsorption and absorption? Okay, so next we are going to discuss about chromatography. Okay, so this chromatography is also a separation technique. Okay, it is also a separation technique. It is mostly used to separate mixture. It is used to separate the mixtures. For example, ink. Okay, you have to take a black color ink. Okay, and you make a spot of the ink, put on to a piece of paper. Okay, you make a spot on ink, just imagine it. You have to make a spot on the ink, spot of the ink is put on to a piece of paper. Okay, what will happen? This ink will be spread out. Okay, little it will be spread. Okay, the same thing for this chromatography, we have to take on as paper chromatography. Okay, not ordinary paper, separate paper is there, chromatography paper. So take a chromatography paper. So see, this is the chromatography paper. Okay, take a paper and here you have to make a spot of the ink, spot of black ink. Okay, black ink or blue ink. Okay, so you know, listen, you may think this black ink is only made with black color, isn't it? No, it is not made only with black color. It has different dyes. Okay, so that mixtures only we are going to find out using this chromatography method. Okay, so here you have to make a spot of the ink is put on to a piece of chromatography paper. Okay, and you should keep this chromatography paper in a beaker with a chemical solvent. Okay, what will happen when this paper dip on that solvent, that water, that solvent will comes up, right? So when this substance, when the solvent touch this black ink and it will be comes out, right? So at the same time, along with this solvent, this ink also can move up. Okay, see the second picture. Here the ink also can move up. Okay, so you can see the difference of the color. First we kept that dot with, first we put this dot with black color, right? So now you see light blue color, it is changed, right? Blue and red. And see the third one, blue, red and yellow also you can see. So from this experiment you can find out this black ink contains 3 dyes. Okay, so this is the one more question also. Black ink contains how many dyes? 3 dyes. Have you understood chromatography? So chromatography is also a separation technique. It is used to separate different components of a mixtures. Okay, it is used to separate the mixtures. From this paper chromatography, what we found, it shows its black ink contains 3 dyes. Okay, so I hope you all understood this fractional distillation method and paper chromatography method, right? Yes. So students, next we are going to discuss about the topic solutions. Okay, solution. You know, solution is a 2 or more substance, right? It is a homogeneous mixture of 2 or more substance. Here we are going to study about an experiment, study solution with an experiment. Okay, so you know this is a water. Okay, this is a glass of water and this is salt. Okay, so now you cannot able to say this is a solution, right? Can you do you know what is this? We can say this is a solvent. Okay, what is this? This is a solvent. You all know water is a universal solvent. Okay, so here you have to take a glass of water. This is considered as solvent. Now we can add a spoon of salt or sugar. Okay, salt or sugar, and dissolve it well. Okay, dissolve it well. Now what we can say, this is a solution, right? This is a salt solution. So the salt solution contains what are the things? Solvent as a water, right? Solvent, and the salt we added, no, this is called as solute. Okay, so here in a solution, you know, this is a salt solution. So in a solution, the components present in lesser amount by weight, the component present in lesser amount by weight is called as solute. Here which one is lesser amount? Salt, right? Salt is the lesser amount. So the components present in lesser amount by weight is called as solute, and the component present in larger amount by weight is called as solvent. Which one is larger amount? Water, right? So this components present in lesser amount is called as solute. The components present in larger amount is called as solvent. Okay, so the solution can be represented as salt plus water. That is called as salt solution. Have you understood solution? So solution is, and one more thing also, see, can you able to see the 2 layers after completion of this salt dissolving? Now the salt is completely dissolved, right? The salt is completely dissolved. So after completion of this dissolving, can you able to see the salt layer separately? No, you cannot able to see salt layer separately. Completely it is dissolved, right? So this is called as homogeneous mixture. Okay, so homogeneous mixture means, you know, already we studied, that is a uniform composition. Okay, so this is a homogeneous mixture. Okay, and types of solution based on the particle size, this solution is classified into 3 types. Okay, based on the particle size, solution is classified into 3 types. Okay, see students, based on the particle size, solution is classified into 3 types. So see here in the first glass, the salt is completely dissolved. So you can say this is a true solution. Okay, the particles completely dissolved. So here you can see the clear solution, right? Clear solution. So this is called as true solution. Next year we have one practical also. So students, please listen carefully. Okay, so the salt is completely dissolved. This is called as what? Clear solution. So this is called as true solution. Okay, don't forget the word. Based on the particle size, solution is classified into 3 types. Here this is true solution. Okay, how we can find out this is true solution? The salt is completely dissolved and it looks a clear solution. Okay, so it is called as true solution. And see the second one, here the particle is not completely dissolved. You cannot able to see the clear solution. A fine particles are present here and there. You cannot able to see the particles, but it looks like a cloudy mixture, right? It looks like a cloudy mixture. This is a starch with water, okay? It looks like a cloudy mixture. So this type of solution is called as colloidal solution. Have you understood my colloidal solution? It's cloudy mixture means that is a colloidal solution. Clear solution means that is a true solution. Okay, cloudy mixture, that is a colloidal solution. And see here you can able to see the two layers, right? One water layer and another one salt layer. Not salt, this is a wheat flour. Okay, so here the turbid mixture is settled at the bottom. Okay, you can see the turbid mixture. So this type of solution is called as suspension solution. Okay, so turbid mixture means that is a suspension solution. Have you understood? Clear means true solution, cloudy mixture means colloidal solution, and turbid mixture means that is a suspension solution. Okay. So students, based on the particle size, solution is classified into three types. What are they? True solution, colloidal solution and suspension solution. And one more thing, clear solution. Clear solution, that is a true. Okay, and cloudy mixture, that is a colloidal, and turbid mixture, that is a suspension. Okay, mind these three things also. Okay, and next we are going to discuss about colloidal solution. So this colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture. Colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture. It is not a clear solution, ununiform composition. Okay, colloidal solution is the second glass we saw now, that is a colloidal. So it is a heterogeneous mixture consisting of, it has two phases, that is dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Okay, colloidal solution is a heterogeneous mixture consisting of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. So based on these things, it is there are 8 different combinations are there. Okay, dispersion phase and dispersed medium, maybe it is in solid or liquid or gas based on their physical nature. Okay, so here we are going to study about the 8 possible combinations. That is, it is given in page number 120. See, this is the table, dispersed phase and dispersion medium. This table, they will from this table they will ask the one more questions. Okay, so study thoroughly. More questions they will ask from this table. Okay, lot of questions. So study thoroughly. So see, if the dispersed phase is solid. Okay, if the dispersed phase is solid, okay, like a solvent, okay, solid, and dispersion phase also, dispersion medium also solid means that name is called a solid sol. Okay, dispersed and dispersion medium both are solid means that name is called as solid sol. And solid sol examples, lot of examples given in your book. Alloys example, best example already I told you, alloys example, gold ornaments, right? So gold ornaments is made with gold and copper. Okay, both are solid, you all know, right? So alloys and gems, and gems means gemstone. Okay, gemstone, and colored glass. Some color glass, glass is there, no, red color, green color, some different color glasses are there. That is, okay, example for this solid sol. And see the second one, solid and liquid. Solid and liquid is named as sol. Okay, example, paints, inks, egg white. Okay, and see the third one, solid and gas. Dispersed phases, like a water. It is taken as like a water. Okay, so in, salt dissolved in water, right? True, under that true solution we study, no, like that. solid is taken as dispersed phase and dispersion medium gas. Okay, so that is called as aerosol. Okay, so aerosol, that is solid with gas. Example, smoke and dust. So smoke and dust is made with solid and gas. Okay, and liquid and solid. Liquid and solid is named as gel. Okay, so you can say lot of example, curd, cheese, jelly, these are jelly form, right? And fifth one, liquid, that is named as emulsion. Okay, liquid and liquid is named as emulsion. Example for emulsion, milk, butter, oil in water. Okay, it is a immiscible liquids. Okay, both are liquid but immiscible. Okay, immiscible, some types comes under miscible. Okay, and next, liquid and gas. Liquid and gas already we studied under solid and gas aerosol, right? So like that, liquid, if dispersion phase is liquid, dispersion medium means gas, is also called as aerosol. Okay, example, mist, fog and clouds. Okay, and seventh one, gas with solid. Gas with solid is named as solid foam. Solid foam, that is cake and bread. Okay, example for solid form is cake and bread. And gas with liquid, that is named as foam. Example, soap, leather, aerated waters. Okay, so students, please mark it here. One more question. Okay, this table fully one more question. Mark it and study. Okay. Students, next we are going to discuss about the important topic, that is Brownian movement. This is very important question, Brownian movement and Tyndall effect. Okay, first we are going to discuss about Brownian movement. So listen carefully. Okay, so in this Brownian movement, when colloidal solution are viewed under powerful microscope. Okay, see students, you know colloidal solution, okay, in the second class. Okay, so when colloidal solution are viewed under powerful microscope, okay, when we see this colloidal solution through this microscope, it can be seen the colloidal particles. Here we can see minute particles, fine particles you can see. Okay, it can be seen that the colloidal particles are moving constantly and rapidly in zigzag directions. So anyway, in this colloidal solution we can see the particles. We can see the particles, but you cannot able to see the stable particles. That particle is always moving rapidly here and there, okay, in zigzag direction. Like this picture, the particles are always moving around, right? So you know this particles, when we focus light on a water, dust, on a dirty water, so there also you can see the particles. There the particles does not present in a stable manner, right? The particles always moving here and there. In like that, in Brownian, under the Brownian movement, the particle also moving zigzag directions. The Brownian movement of the particle is due to the unbalanced bombardment of the particles by molecules of the dispersed medium. Because why these particles are moving here and there, moving in zigzag direction means we dissolved these particles in particles with water, right? So their one bombardment is there, on force is there. So due to that pressure, the particles are moving here and there. Have you understood, ma? And under that Brownian movement, you should draw this diagram also. So Brownian movement means what? When colloidal solutions are viewed under powerful microscope, it can be seen that colloidal particles are moving constantly and rapidly in zigzag directions. The Brownian movement of particle is due to the unbalanced bombardment of the particles by the molecules of dispersed medium. In dispersed medium, the particles are moving in zigzag directions. Okay, this is the Brownian moment. So next important topic is Tyndall effect. So this Tyndall effect was observed in the year 1869. This is a 1 mark question. Okay, Tyndall effect was observed in the year 1869. So when a strong beam of light is focused on a colloidal solution. Okay, when a strong beam of light is there, we studied when powerful microscope, right? When we viewed under the when colloidal solutions are viewed under a powerful microscope. Here what we are doing, when a strong beam of light is focused on a colloidal solution, the path of the beam becomes visible. So see, one picture is given in your book. See, when a strong beam of light is focused on a colloidal solution, okay, this is pure water, this is colloidal solution. Under the pure water we cannot able to see the particles because the particles are completely dissolved, right? But in the colloidal solution the particles we can able to see. Okay, so here path of the beam become visible, we can able to see the beam, right? This phenomenon is known as Tyndall effect. Okay, so what is Tyndall effect? When a strong beam of light is focused on a colloidal solution, the path of the beam become visible. This phenomenon is known as Tyndall effect, and the illuminated path is called Tyndall cone. Okay, this path is called as what? Tyndall cone. This phenomenon is not observed in case of true solution. It cannot be able to see in true solution because the particles are completely dissolved. Okay, and one more thing, here more to note box is given now, so listen. The beam of light coming from headlights of vehicles is due to Tyndall effect. So the headlight vehicles, the vehicle headlight is working under this Tyndall effect. Blue color of sky is also due to Tyndall effect. Okay, and one more example also I can say, when we open the windows, room windows, the sunlight will be enter inside the room, right? So the sunlight you can able to see the particles. Here also you can able to see the particles are moving here and then some will goes up and some will comes down, like that you can see. So these also will comes under Tyndall effect. Okay, have you understood? So now you mark this question. It is given in a book back question, Roman letter 7, second question. Brownian movement and Tyndall effect. Brownian movement, this full paragraph with this diagram, and Tyndall effect, this full paragraph up to this true solution. Then you should draw this diagram. Okay. Okay. So thank you, students. We will continue in the next class. Okay, thank you so much.